Good afternoon and welcome to another episode on Not Minding My Own Business. I am your estate planning and elder law attorney, Russell Farbiars, and I am joined here today in our studio at 928 Penn Avenue with the entire team of FXV Digital Design, Freddy Vásquez and Wilhen Suriel. Close enough?
Yeah, you got this.
Apparently, I don't have enough of a Spanish accent. And I have invited Fred and Wilhen onto the show. Fred is a repeat customer here. He was on with us last year, but I've invited them both on to talk to us a little bit about some marketing trends for 2023 that we can all look at in our business. So welcome.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
So I understand you're fresh off the Google, so you know exactly what the marketing trends are. No.
Yeah, man. I think it's funny because I think a lot of people, you want to read it every year. What's the trend for this year? What's the trend for the every year when the new year comes in? And I'm gonna stick tried and true to what I've been preaching forever. I think if you stick to the things that Will and I always talk about at FXV, I think you'll do just fine. So as far as you want me to just get started?
Well, why don't we do this? I want to actually start with branding because I know you're going to go there. You were going to go there anyway, but I've noticed that on your social media this year that your focus has really been on branding, and it's something that I've paid a lot of attention to. Particularly, I would say over the last 18, 24 months, largely because of your influence. But I want to hear what you have to say about branding and why it's so important.
Well, I think branding is it's pretty much laid out simply, right? It's whatever a person thinks of right away in their head when they hear your name or your company's name. Like that's branding. So when they say FXV Digital Design, what's the first thing that's in their brain? When they say Anti-Average Farbiars, what's the first thing that enters into their brain? That's branding. And what people don't understand a lot of the time is they think, let me make a logo. I'm going to plaster it on things. My branding is good. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Branding is just straight up your reputation online and in people's minds. And I think you need to work on that every day, whether it's through social media posts, whether it's through the front of your brick and mortar. Is it swept? Is your sign clean? I've always done that. I've always talked about that. The smell.
It's a fact.
It's a fact for sure, man. The smell when you walk in here, everybody's like, oh, it always smells nice in here. When people sit down at our table, it's always nice to be in here. That's all branding, and everything encompasses together. And that's what makes your business successful or yourself successful if you feel like personal branding. I think that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
So when you're looking at branding as an entrepreneur, you're talking about personal branding, but there's also branding for your business. So how do you differentiate the two, or do you not?
Well, it's interesting. I think they both go hand in hand because for me, one of the things that I've perfected, I guess, in a way, is branding myself. I'm literally just everywhere. It's just literally everywhere. But it also involves being out in the community, making yourself known. This past year, I might not have been out there as much as I always have been, but my community efforts have been intact. For me, that's personal branding in a sense that I want people to know that I'm a big community guy. Like, it's not just there for business. Like, that's not the case. I mean, of course, let's not be totally ignorant about it. Yeah, of course it's going to help. People want to work with people that help out their community, but for personal branding, for me, it's how you represent yourself. It's the community part of it. And that helps with your business. When they see you, people trust you. And when they trust you, they want to work with you. Hence, it helps out your business. So it definitely goes hand in hand. I really wouldn't say separate it. I know sometimes people might be a little like, well, if I want to sell my business in the future, I'm the business, so you might get one of those things where it's like that might be a problematic, but they go hand in hand. If people like you, they're going to want to work with you. Your business is going to succeed.
Well, Yeah, I think the common phrase is like, know, and trust.
Mm.
People want to work with someone they like, know, and trust. And I guess from to your point that the way you develop that is through your brand.
Yeah.
So if someone's looking at getting started with getting their brand, out there, what would you suggest are the first couple of steps?
Social media.
Yep.
Social media out of the gate, and advertising on social media.
Will, you're nodding your head. So tell me what you think.
No, I just feel like nowadays everyone how they get out there, because the main thing is you gotta get yourself out there. So speaking with small influencers can help you a lot in many ways, and put yourself even in a broader way of marketing, because now you're going to be marketing yourself to the point that you're going to have everyone knowing who you are and what you represent and what your brand is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like literally one of the top trends that's going on nowadays, even since forever.
Right.
So it helps a lot.
Absolutely. So what would you say is the next marketing trend that people should be paying attention to?
Well, I think branding should be your first priority focus. I think that should be every year, right? I don't think a lot of people put emphasis on that, though.
It's not a trend. It's really a necessary.
Absolutely, but the fact that I have to even bring it up for me makes it like I guess it's a trend that should be happening all the time. But that should be number one focus. But number two, in my past experience, I guess for the 1 month we've been in 2023 and the last couple in 22, really pay attention to Facebook advertising. It's been doing wonders lately. I don't know what it is, Facebook algorithms. I couldn't tell you. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know what's going on. Okay. When it comes to like the inner workings of Facebook, I don't know. What I do know is experience. And we have a client, Dumpster Dudes. They were created locally, Berks County, Dustin Keene. But now they're up to, they were up to 9 locations. Now I just found out it's 11.
And just so you know, they are a recent guest on this podcast.
Really? Who'd you have on?
Joan.
Nice. Good job. Yeah. So like Dumpster Dudes is they're killing it right now. For them, we do Google advertising, which you should always be doing. I feel like, especially if you're not coming up organically with your website, but Facebook advertising, of course, it goes across to Instagram, doing wonders. I've been seeing a lot of great results, a lot of great hits. A lot of leads are coming in if you do it correctly. The main focus is, though, don't be boosting your posts, okay? I mean, they're not bad. They kind of help. If you sit there and do the back end advertising, like create the different graphics, take your time, set your demographics, that's going to work wonders. That and TikTok. I'm always going to stick by TikTok. It's been one of the best social media resources we've ever used. That can literally change your life in an instant.
I'm laughing because when TikTok first got big, you were on TikTok and what you had a post that got over 1 million views, and only in a couple days
about local SEO, which is one of the most boring things I think you could ever talk about, like in the grand scheme of marketing. But it's so important to small businesses, so that's why everybody wanted to watch it. And the crazy thing is, just based on that one video, we got phone calls here at the office, because we set ourselves as a professional in the industry. We were one of the leaders in the industry. That's what you're doing to yourself when you do your social media and you keep it consistent and you're doing your blogging on your websites. You're going ahead and telling people, I am a leader in my industry. I know what I am talking about. I am a professional. And when they come across your videos or your blog posts or whatever the case is, they're going to want to contact you. Because they're like, you know what? I like what he's saying. I want to do this for my business. I know in my heart of hearts I don't have the time. Let me call this guy or this girl, whoever it is, because they know what they're talking about. That's what you're setting there. That's all those things. Again, all that put together is your brand. You want to become the leader in your industry.
Right. Early on in my career, I was given the advice that when someone thinks of a lawyer, you want your face to come up in their mind, and that's in a nutshell what you're talking about.
Mhm.
It is the branding and the being present. Now, you said Facebook is working pretty well. Is that because they've sort of figured out how to get around the no more privacy sharing from Apple products?
I don't know. I have no idea. I know the Apple products still do that, and again, I'm not talking about your regular everyday posting.
Right.
I'm talking about your advertising. And when you do the advertising, obviously it's going to be seen because you're paying for it.
Mhm.
The Apple thing, the privacy, it's still there. I think a lot of the times people just don't put it on. It's there, it's available, you can do it. I don't think everyone's doing it yet.
Mhm.
I don't know what's going to happen in a couple of years or so. But right now, I don't think it's that pertinent yet. But I think they also changed something. Something got changed because when that first came out, the advertising went to crap.
That's
It
what
went
I
down.
heard.
Right. But now it's going in a different direction. So something's going on that it's actually getting through. So that or maybe I'm just better at my job. I don't know.
Well, no, Fred is pretty good at his job.
It's been really it's like almost life changing. Like when I just go ahead and just start running ads for whoever wants them, they're just hitting. So I'm like, wow, this is something really good's happening.
And sort of going along with the Facebook, what about things like Reels or that are on Facebook and on Instagram? I mean, we talked a little bit about
Mhm.
TikTok. How valuable are those?
They're if you only have time to do one thing on Facebook or Instagram a day, I would put up a reel or a story. They're gonna get a lot more hits, a lot more action, just because they're trying to rival TikTok.
Right.
That's why YouTube has shorts now. That's the same idea.
Yeah.
But Will brought up a good point this morning. He said Snapchat's been doing this for years.
Yeah.
Like they've been doing it for a long time.
It's more of attention grabbing than anything else. Because, a lot of the times we're doing multiple things at the same time, or we're driving, or we're having a talk with someone, and you just take a quick look at your phone, see like a 5-second video or less, and that's it. You already have a lot of information, and your attention for those 5 seconds is like what's key and the most important. So it does help a lot.
Which is what you want to do with every
Yeah.
video or reel anyways. You have those first 5 seconds, which is what Snapchat did. I think TikTok, and I should actually say Facebook took the Snapchat idea first. TikTok
Yeah.
just took it to another level, and they have an amazing algorithm. And that's the one thing about TikTok too, is not just that it's videos and people want to see instant gratification. They can just scroll and all those good things. Their algorithm is almost second to none. Which is what makes them so successful. And it reacts so quickly, where Facebook and the other guys takes a little bit of time. But yeah, if you only have time for one thing, put up the reel, put up the story. Make sure your Facebook and Instagram are linked. That way you can get them on both ends, of course. But I would do that all day, every day. I've been doing it actually a lot lately. My feed got a lot fewer posts on it, but now I got stories like crazy.
Yeah.
And you just take out your phone and do it yourself?
Well, I mean, you can for sure. I have this guy here called Joseph McCookie who sends me shorts on like Fred Talks and stuff like that, which I like posting. But McCookie also does all of our videos. So any of my testimonial videos, anything of my company videos, we take those, we cut them up, we put them up in stories and reels. Again, branding, being that I'm supposed to be a professional in my industry. I don't really like putting out things that aren't elite in quality. So I think that's, sometimes you won't even see much from me at times because I don't want to just put anything out. But I'm not saying that's the right way to do things, because you know what? You can go ahead and put up simple videos every day and still hit. We've all seen it.
Well, and I know back in 2020, you were posting, videos to encourage people every day, and those I know got some traction.
Oh, crazy traction!
Just because people were at home and confused.
Well, 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Yeah, I ended up doing like how many videos, man? It was one a day.
it was just it was, I think, one a day. I remember watching them.
Yeah.
Just, and it was, it was always, those were a little bit longer form. I think. I don't think those were reels, but just getting that content out, I think is key.
It's definitely key, and I think the subject matter is going to be a big difference maker also this year. I mean, let's not beat around the bush. Recession, everybody's talking about it. I don't want it to happen. I don't think it's going to be a bad thing. I'm going to stay positive about it because we all survived COVID. The world stopped. It stopped, and I feel like we're stronger than that, personally. So I think we're stronger than that as a community, as a country. So let's stay positive, people. But being that there is a chance that this may happen, quality over quantity will beat anything. And even if you just bust out that phone and just record something, if you give people something great, you give them the quality, you give them something they want to follow, something that speaks to them. And that doesn't just have to be motivational. It could be anything, but just something of quality. You're going to get a lot farther than you know. I mean, let's just look at all the videos that have went viral the past couple of years. I mean, let's talk about TikTok, the guy on the skateboard with the cranberry juice. I mean, that dude blew up because he was just singing Dreams by Fleetwood Mac and just having a good time. Like things like that happen, like the local SEO thing. It's funny how even me, someone that's in marketing, I thought this would be one of the worst videos, exploded. So you never can tell, man.
Yeah, and you're right. I had done a couple of reels probably back in 2021. And I think the one that we had that did the best was the one that was Why Work With Us, which I wouldn't have thought. I thought it didn't make any sense to me why that would get so many hits, but it did.
Well, yeah, that because we the second or third most visited page on any website is the About Us page. So that makes sense to me. But we had that conversation early on in our relationship where I was like, you and when I was doing social media for you guys, it's like, you know what? If we put up a picture of you and Alexa, it's going to hit. And sure as crap, because I'm not cursing on this podcast, that was one of the most popular posts back in the day. It was a picture of you and Alexa because people love people. Human factor.
And you're right. And you always said, you got to do video. You got to do video. You got to do video.
Yeah, I wasn't saying it for my health, man. People are like cats with a red laser. When they see stuff moving, they're just like, I got to watch it. I mean, it's just what it is. And social media has changed society that much. That's what it is. Because this was going nowhere. I mean, we were doing the TV and the newspapers and then Facebook and then video. And then that was it. And now video is so easy to make with phones. Everybody has a phone. So now it's just like society's just 180. It's totally different than it was 5 years ago,
And it's going to be much more different in 5 years from now. I mean,
yep.
And I think that all of this has really accelerated because we all had to really rely on digital communication over the last 3 years.
Well, yeah, we had to Zoom. We had to get used to Zoom. And it's funny. I was talking with Jill about this because she does the Target, to go. You order stuff at Target and you go pick it up. Now, all those businesses were implementing that during COVID because they still wanted to sell and have a safe way of people to grab their stuff, right? Hasn't stopped, though.
No.
Some places are even adding it now after the fact. And Jill loves it, and people still love it, and people still do that. So it's like, yeah, COVID came. Yeah, we did things to make money during business, but doesn't mean they're stopping, man. And people are getting so used to that. They don't want to do anything now.
No, it really is making things more convenient.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's convenient for us, but it's just changing the world out there.
Yeah. So any other marketing trends out there that we should all be on the lookout for?
You should always be blogging, period. I've seen it happen. I've seen it work. You'll never tell me anything different. I don't care who you are. Blogging, 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 blogging. You should also do blogging. And blogging.
I don't know, Will. Do you think you should do blogging?
Yes.
He seems to be pretty insistent.
Yeah.
It's the only real way you can update your website on a weekly basis unless you have something else going on. It's the only way you can get precise keyword phrases onto your website without actually adding a page about it, and people will look for these things.
So what's the reason for to do the blogging?
SEO. Okay, you're talking about you're an estate planning lawyer, right? Okay, so obviously you have a page about estate planning on your website, but people do have specific questions about that. Okay, so go ahead and just type estate planning into Google. You could do it right now, and you'll see all those suggestions that come up underneath. Those aren't there for your health. Okay, it wasn't just like it came out of thin air. Google tracks what people are typing along with the word estate planning in Google. And when you look at those suggestions, each one of those can be a blog post. And you want that to be a blog post because people are going to search for that specifically. And when they search for that specific keyword phrase, it's going to bring up your website. They're going to go to your website and they're going to know you as somebody that's a player in this industry and that I need to call. If you look at all the analytics from all my clients, because they get a report every month, you see on that list all the blog posts that were viewed and that were clicked on. And that's how they get into you.
Yeah. I get that report every month, and then sometimes I'm shocked it's the blog posts that are from 5, 6, 7 years ago that still get hits. Now, I know there's a website, and I cannot remember the name of it, but it's like Hear the People or something along those lines, where you can actually type in, your subject matter, and it will like generate all the questions that are out there, like on Google.
Yeah, I remember that website. Yeah, I forgot the name of it, but yeah, that's one of the things that it can do is it'll do that. It'll help you with the subject matter. I think, what do we got there? The mailman?
You got the mailman.
Okay. The mailman. That's definitely one of the ways to get subject matter too. But along with that though, think about your audience. Like, we know who we're talking to. Like, what are their concerns? I mean, just listen to the pain points when you have those meetings with everybody. I listen to them and I take notes down for every client meeting I have. But those are all pain points that you should be addressing, because even though you might be looking on Google or that website for what people are searching, there's a ton more people that don't even search, and they probably have the same problem. So, that's one of the ways to do that. And I think blogging will always be king, especially with organic SEO. If you don't want to spend a ton of money on Google AdWords, your website has to be a high-ranking website. You can only do that, Bert, making sure Google knows that you're always fresh and you have quality content on there. If you're not blogging, you're doing yourself a disservice. Period. End of story.
And how often should you be blogging?
At least minimum twice a month. If you can get away with once a week, you're in it. And don't get discouraged, because you just said it yourself 2 seconds ago. I get traffic from blogs I put up 5, 6 years ago. Okay. Don't get discouraged when they don't rank right away. They're not going to rank right away. It's impossible. Okay. It's just not going to happen. Okay. But when Google starts to spider it, people start to search for it, people start reading it. That's the key. That's the key right there, man. 5, 6 years ago, that's awesome, dude, that you're getting traffic now on those things.
One final marketing trend that every business should be focusing on.
Man, I thought it was blogging.
other than what you've already talked about.
One focus this year for I don't know, Will, what do you think? What should be like one of the major focuses this year?
Social media.
Social media. Always social media.
Always.
Here's the thing though with that. Here's a quick tip. This is one that I think everybody should do. Find a photographer local to you. Okay? See if you can barter for work, or maybe they're up and coming, maybe a college intern. Doesn't cost you a ton of money. Okay? Even though is your brand worth it? I think your brand is worth a lot of money. Have a photo shoot. Okay, have them come in maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 months. Have a photo shoot. Have them take pictures of you. Have them take pictures of you with your customers or clients and your culture. Okay, and then you want to take those photos and share them on your social media. Use them to update your website. Show people that you're really in it doing the work that you're doing. Okay, don't use stock photography. And of course, if there's no other way to do it, you have to use it. I understand that. But if you can take the time to get a photographer out there and take photos of you in your natural environment, that's going to speak a lot louder to a lot of people out there when they see you and in all your posts, you in your blog posts. And guess what? You're actually starting to brand yourself, because people see who they're working with. And at the end of the day, everybody wants to know who they're working with and what kind of person they are. And that's a great way to do that. So there you go. As a final tip, get a photo shoot happening. And listen, if you got a couple extra bucks, hire yourself a McCookie like we do.
So I know we're sitting here on a podcast. I know you have your own podcast called Fred Talk, which I think drops every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
So is podcasting something that business owners should think about? I'll tell you, my wife rolls her eyes at podcasts because she says everyone thinks they're a star. And,
Yeah.
But tell me why podcasting is so important.
Well, I think podcasting is super important because, let's go back to it, branding. Okay. Branding, self-branding, company branding. For me, it's more personal branding with Fred Talk, but it does help, obviously, my business, Excel. Podcasting is, well, first of all, it's fun. Who doesn't want to hang around with some people and just like talk, right? So it's fun. But why is it important? Well, I had a great conversation with McCookie the other day. It might have even been yesterday. We were talking about how people are starting to really get into podcasting on YouTube because people want to see things. They want to see things move. So now it's not only just, listening, which is easier, maybe in your car and stuff, which you should be doing that, not watching anything. But YouTube is getting really crazy out there with viewership. And a lot of it's with the podcasting, especially. People want to watch the podcast, not just listen to it. They want to see what's happening. It's like interviews. And because of that, the views are going up a lot, skyrocketing. Ever since I started posting up these videos of Fred Talk, views are starting to grow. Subscribership's starting to grow. I see it. And YouTube has YouTube Shorts. So now they're taking a little TikTok action there, doing the YouTube Shorts, which you could do with your podcast and put it on there. So you get a little bit of that. You get your podcast viewership going up. And it just lends itself, again, video. People are like cats. They like the red laser. They want to see things moving. So if you have a podcast out there and you're doing a great job with it, awesome. Congrats to you. But if you want to take it to the next level and really hook up your branding and really start getting yourself out there, videotape them and put them up. They don't have to be, Steven Spielberg Productions. It helps, but it doesn't have to be that. And get those up on YouTube. Oh, and another side note, make sure you fill out the videos correctly. A lot of people don't give it a good title. A lot of people don't take the time to fill out the description. That will kill you. Google owns YouTube. Okay, so they're gonna check all that stuff in there for SEO. So make sure you fill it out correctly. Help yourself with SEO and increase your brand.
Absolutely. And if anyone's listening and wants to see what we're doing, these podcast episodes are all on our YouTube channel. So
right on.
But thank you so much, Fred and Will, for being here today, giving us some tips for marketing in 2023. And thank you to all our listeners for tuning in to another episode of Not Minding My Own Business.